Let's talk about one of the toughest but most rewarding jobs in the world, modern parenting. Today, we're going to jump into an evidence based guide to help navigate the very real challenges of raising kids in today's wild world. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the endless and often contradictory parenting advice out there, you are definitely not alone. It can honestly feel like you're trying to navigate a huge storm without a compass. But what if you had that compass? Well, in this explainer, we're going to do just that. We are going to cut right through all that noise by distilling practical, research-backed strategies, and we're drawing from the amazing work of psychologist Dr. Jacqueline Nacy. Okay, so let's dive into our first big topic, and it's one that is on every parent's mind. How in the world do we manage our kids' relationship with technology? So the first big takeaway from researchers is this. The whole screen time debate isn't just a numbers game. Come on, an hour spent creating a cool video with friends is worlds away from an hour of just passively scrolling through feeds, right? What really matters most is the quality and the context of their screen time. Let's take that classic question. Do violent video games cause aggression? The science, well, it shows there's no easy, simple answer. The link is still really debated, and the actual impact depends so heavily on the individual child and their home environment. It's just way more complex than a simple yes or no. So, what's the game plan here? Well, you want to use parental controls to guide, not just to block everything. Set limits that are super clear and, this is crucial, consistent. And above all, keep the conversation going. Really talk to them about what they're seeing and doing online, and always prioritize high-quality, creative stuff over just passive consumption.
All right, let's shift gears. We're going to move from the external world of screens to the internal world of your child's mind. And this is where understanding just a few key psychological concepts can be incredibly empowering for you as a parent.
Let's talk about something called intrusive thoughts. Now, I know, it sounds kind of scary, but it's really just the clinical term for those weird, unwanted thoughts that sometimes just pop into our heads. And the most important thing for you to know is that they are a completely normal part of being human, for kids and for adults too. So, how do we deal with them? The most powerful strategy actually comes from a framework called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. And the goal isn't to build like a force field around your brain to stop the thoughts. No way. The real power comes from changing your relationship with those thoughts once they arrive. Okay, so here's how that works in the real world. You can coach your child to simply notice the thought without freaking out, to reframe it as just a brain blip and not some kind of absolute fact, and then to gently bring their focus back to what they're actually doing. It's really about teaching them that they are the boss of their focus, not their thoughts. All right, now for the timeless challenge of discipline. How can we use actual science to effectively shape positive behavior in our kids? Now, this might sound like something straight out of a psych textbook, but operant conditioning is something you already use every single day. It's just the simple idea that behaviors followed by positive consequences are way more likely to be repeated. Reinforcement builds a behavior up, punishment is meant to take it down. So, how do you use that reinforcement part to your advantage? It's a really simple three-step process. First, be crystal clear about the specific behavior you want to see. Second, choose a reward that your child actually finds rewarding. It could be praise, extra playtime, you name it. And third, and this is the absolute most critical part, deliver that reward right away, every single time they do the thing. That consistency is what makes it all stick. Phew. We've covered a lot of ground, from screens to thoughts to behaviors. So now, let's pull it all together into a practical toolkit that you can start using like right away. So here it is, your toolkit, all in one place. When you're dealing with screen time battles, the strategy is all about limits and quality. For anxiety, it's using that amazing CBT approach to acknowledge and reframe thoughts. And for behavior, it's all about that positive reinforcement. See the pattern here? These aren't just random tips, they are real strategies grounded in proven psychology. And let's end with what is maybe the most important takeaway of all. This isn't about becoming a perfect, flawless parent who never, ever makes a mistake. That's impossible. The goal is simply to be a more thoughtful and informed parent who's equipped with an understanding of why certain strategies actually work. So I'll leave you with this question. Looking back at this toolkit, what is one small principle, whether it's about screen time, reframing a thought, or using a little positive reinforcement, that you feel like you can put into practice this week? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me.